Hey everyone, welcome back to episode 10 of Timeliner, my progression locked Ironman series, where I'll be exploring the world of Runescape, one game update at a time, only with the gear and skills available up until this point. Woohoo, 2-digit number of episodes. And after wrapping up a little dragon incursion last time, we've got a whole year to finish this time around. With the King Black Dragon slain, the update from the 24th of September 2002 was finished, and the next updates were a bit sparse, only teasing the new 3D graphics to come, until we finally receive new content on the 23rd of October. Dragons now drop dragon bones. That means any dragon slaying adventure in the future will get rewarded with 72 prayer XP. It used to be 60, but I couldn't find the update where that value was changed. Further prayer boosts will have to wait for a bit longer, however, which is why I'm dragging out completing the trifecta of protection prayers as long as possible. But enough of that. This update brought a total of 2 new quests. The first one being quest number 38, Biohazard. Last episode we managed to free Elena in West Adi, who was helping the victims of a plague. After recovering her from her captivity, she's looking to further help this ongoing epidemic. Good day, Elena. How are you holding up? The mourners have stolen her lab equipment. In order to better help her victims, Elena wanted to study the plague and create a cure. But now her distillery is in the hands of the mourners. Well, not to brag or anything, but I've accidentally killed like 10 of them, so it shouldn't be a problem to get it back. Or is there something to brag about? Anyway, we have to find a new entry to West Adi first. The tunnel has been discovered and sealed, but luckily her family is well connected, and we know a guy, Jericho, who communicates somehow with the West at all. Time to pay him a visit. He lives just around the corner. Why do so many conversations and houses start so awkwardly? And why are you half naked? Jericho is communicating via messenger pigeons and has arranged hoisting a ladder over the wall at the south end of town. He warns us, however, that such a border crossing will be severely punished if we are caught. But he also offers the use of his birds to cause a distraction. I will keep that in mind. This guy looks shady. Hello, Omar. Jericho sent me. His accomplice is also in position, but the guard tower to the north makes your current plan of scaling the wall impossible. Time to use the distraction. And after trying way too long to find a spot on where to unleash the pigeons by the tower, I went back to Jericho to pick up some food. Hungry birds won't leave a cage without it. Now fly and darken the skies. A bit underwhelming, but it'll do. Oops, almost forgot to put on my protective gear. And my real protection. Hello, West Adam. You there, Mona. Where's Elena's stuff? Not very talkative. Let's check out their HQ. Too busy eating stew to open the door, yet they've got multiple people running around aimlessly. Curious. There's a stew in the garden. Let's try to ruin it. This red is looking like a fine addition. Aw, no corpse. Guess the rotten apple next to it has to do then. Yummy. Now we're hopefully no longer too busy eating. But instead we're sick with food poisoning. Time to dress up as a doctor, I guess. There must be some kind of hospital still left around here. And indeed there is one, next to the zombie-infested graveyard. Our charm is not sufficient to make Sarah give her outfit. Disappointing. But stealing some while she's watching is fine. Looking like a fine health professional. Ah yes, it is obvious. You all have way too much blood. Unfortunately, I do not have my leeches with me, but this ought to do it. Now, where's your master of coin? I need payments for my services. A bunch of locked up crates. That must be where we keep Elena's stuff. Maybe one of these fine ladies will give me the key. But first a diagnosis. Yeah, rest in peace. It's also very fast. Turning a blind eye to the crime won't save you either. A key! Wonderful! And that is the distillator Elena was talking about. Wow, these birds are doing a great job. The mourners on the guard tower are still distracted. Hello again, Elena. Here's your stuff. Don't mind the bloodstains. And just like that, she gets to work. But her results were inconclusive and she wants a second opinion from a former teacher. For that, we need to smuggle some worthless liquid honey, valuable colorless Athena, and poisonous sulfuric bromine alongside a sample of a plague to him in Varrock. But first, we need to pick up some touch paper in Remington. And teleports are far too dangerous, or we'd accidentally destroy the plague sample. Yeah, this all sounds really safe. I'll get right on it. Sure. Since this video will come out close to the Pride event, here's a bit of a relevant trivia. This very motivational line is spoken regardless of our character's gender. And it was later confirmed that Elena was one of the first 2 LGBT characters in Runescape, the other one being the Makeover Mage, an update I glossed over back in May of 2002. Back to the quest, and with newfound motivation, he set sail to Brimhaven. From here, it's just a quick trip across an active volcano, passing a border check that doesn't even allow alcohol, and just like that, we're in Remington already. And that's the chemist. Well, hopefully a bit more than just friends. Better not mention the plague to him. We sideline his questions and he warns us that they are doing plague checks in Varrock due to rumors of a plague carrier. Well, I would never. They are so high on alert that even the 3 sampled bottles we carry would arouse too much suspicion on one person. But he has a simple solution. 3 underpaid errand boys shall carry 1 bottle each toward Varrock. The trustworthy trio of a gambler, alcoholic, and worst of all, a painter, already wait outside, ready to help us. Now, how do we make sure our bottles get there safely? Let's give the alcoholic the poison, the gambler the worthless honey, and last but not least, the colorless stuff to the painter. That should be the least useful to each of them. Now then, run off. I'll be right there as well. And that's the checkpoint. Nothing to see here, officer. I'm just traveling. You cannot ask for my ID. With all 3 bottles retrieved, it's off to Gitor. There he is, relaxing alone in his room, but his wife bars us entry. Apparently, he's very sick, and only a priest can help him at this point. Well, not the first time we've dressed up in this quest. And very conveniently, there's a clothier next door. Discounts, just what we needed. Hello ma'am, plague priest is here. The wife is worried about the plague carrier that's around. How does everyone know that? I mean, seriously. But yeah, we have a plague carrier, but it's cool. Elena sent us. With the equipment handed over, Guido runs some tests and comes to an interesting conclusion. The sample is clean. No traces of a plague. How very odd. Better run back to Elena to share the news. And she came to the exact same conclusion. There is no plague. There is now only one way to resolve this. Incite a mass riot and... just joking, let's have a quick chat with the king about that. That'll surely resolve everything. King Lathas does not deny that the plague is a hoax, but he had reason for that, beyond just pulling the biggest prank Kandarin has ever seen. No, the king of Westerdor, Tyrus, was corrupted by evil forces after drinking from the chalice of eternity, the same one that was in Bixterian's script, and Lathas built the wall to contain Tyrus's influence. Sounds a bit far-fetched, but the king surely won't lie to us. And just like that, it is quest completed. 1 thieving level, some more quest points, and the possibility to use the training camp to the north. We've gotten a bunch of ogres locked up in here for range training. Maybe that will actually come in handy in the future. We'll be continuing this questline very soon already. But for now, our eyes turn to the next quest of today's update. Number 39, Jungle Potion. With this update, the southern part of Karamdra was extended and filled with some more people at the Taibo Vanai village. Hey, what did you call me? Vana. That means friend. Alright. And Traphitus, the village leader, has a proposition for us. The fate of his people is unclear, and he needs to smoke some weeds to figure out what to do. Or something along those lines. In turn, he will teach us something about herb lore. That is a very important skill, so deal. We just need to bring him some special weeds from the area. First, the snakeweed to the southwest. Well, that was easy. Hopefully the others are equally quick. Next is Adrugal, which grows near palm trees on a peninsula to the northeast. 2 down and no idea how many to go. Next is Cetofoil. The hints are getting harder. No directions this time, just that it likes to grow near burnt soil. And a large campfire near the village is the perfect spot for it. Just 2 more now. Valencia was, which goes on rocks. The quarry to the southeast should be a good spot. Now, last but not least, Rogue's Purse. Located in a cavern in the northern part of the island, and guarded by mighty ogres. Don't mind me, I'm just scraping the walls. Here you go, Traphitus. This was all of them. Enjoy and give us our reward, please. A grand total of 775 Earthly XP. Amazing. And this measly reward concludes the update from the 23rd of October already, leaving just one final one left for the year of 2002. And that happened on the 12th of December. And what an update that one is. Feels like an early Christmas present. On this fateful day, Runescape received another new skill, Agility, commonly seen as one of the worst skills to train for quite a while. While it seems a bit more popular in modern Runescape, in old school it is tied in last place with a mysterious skill from a not too distant future. But at least it allows us to run more. Or at least it would, if running was already in the game, but that is the 2004 update. All Agility did was the ability to use some shortcuts. And of course serve as a quest requirement. Rough. Just like its training methods. A grand total of 2 agility courses. The first one at the newly released Gnome Stronghold, a place we definitely visit for the first time. I totally did not buy alcohol here to finish a rework bar crawl. So until level 25. This little course was the only way to get agility XP. That'll be fun. Out of curiosity, I looked at the current agility training methods, and this sounds absolutely wild to me, but apparently the best way until level 30 is to jump across a broken bridge in the Mauritania swamp. Not locations we have available now, but this seems like such an odd thing to be the best training method. Anyhow, this should be the last lap. Thanks to the Stolen Heart quest, we received an unintentional 250 XP head start, so we finished a few rounds earlier. And that is now 25 agility, just enough to get the last and only requirement for quest number 40, the Grand Tree. Once again, the gnomish population is in disarray, and we speak with another one of their kings, Nanode. But before he tells us what is wrong here, we have to follow him into the basement. This sounds a bit sus, but okay. Now then, the spirit tree upon which they built their stronghold is dying, and they do not know why. Their top tree guardian, Glove, believes this to be human sabotage, but the king is a bit more open-minded, and wants us to first talk with Hazelmere, an ancient mage who initially created this tree. But he is only able to speak in the ancient gnome language. At least we got a translation helper. Yep, I perfectly memorized all of it already. This peaceful hut certainly must belong to some very sociable person. Hello, Hazelmere, your king sends me. Take a look at this bark. Blah blah blah, yeah, I feel that. A bit of unsuccessful conversation later, Hazelmere scribbles down what he knows about the condition of a tree. Now the real fun begins, matching the words from his letter with the translation book. And without following any guides, I do it as intended, by letting a machine solve it for me. There you are, my trusty spreadsheet program. Simply copy the translation book in here, the message here, and this little function performs a lookup. Now drag and drop, and here's the translated message. A man came to me with a king's seal. I gave the Draconia rocks, and the Draconia rocks will kill the tree. Draconia couldn't be translated, but I think I got the gist of it. Better report that back to the king. If someone with the royal seal picked up the stones to kill the tree, this spells trouble. The king is equally worried and tells us the Draconia rocks were a safety measure to kill the tree if it were to ever grow out of control. We should immediately talk with Glove, the tree guardian south of here. Odd little guy, munching on his wormhole, but we don't judge by looks. Instead, we inform him that a human with a forged seal has taken the Draconia rocks. And Glove is quickly to realize that this can only mean one thing: invasion. Naboo vibes hitting hard. We should alert the king that Glove might overreact, but it appears we are too late. In the 18 seconds since we finished talking, Glove has found the human responsible with the stones and had him arrested. How very odd. Luckily, the king allows us to talk with the prisoner to find out more. There's the culprit. Charlie, why did you do that? That kills trees. Charlie, however, is just as confused as we are. Apparently, he was given the forged seal by Glove himself and was paid to transport the rocks. This whole story doesn't make any sense. Glove must be hiding something. We should inform the king that this isn't over yet. But we need some more concrete proof first. Maybe we find something in Glove's house. I'm using the term very generously for a small platform without even a roof. And if you confront Glove about Charlie's tale, he replies with some casual racism. Luckily, no gamer words are thrown around. I don't want this channel taken down. Now I don't feel so bad about searching through his stuff. Aha, an unlocked cupboard with your journal. Would be a shame if someone were to read that right in front of your eyes, wouldn't it? Alrighty. Glove's a bit salty that his people were often killed and plundered by humans, but now sees them all as inherently evil. Well, that's not so nice. I'm not evil, I think. Let's get him cancelled. Hey, that's not fair. He just called the guards to lock us up. At least we got some new information from Charlie. Apparently, there's something fishy going on at the Karamdor shipyards. With the passphrase Kalu Min, we should be able to snoop around. Thanks, Charlie. Very cool. But how did we get out of here? A royal pardon? Excellent. While the king thinks Glove is overreacting a bit, he doubts that he is orchestrating all of this. But at least we got our freedom to search for more proof. And also access the Gnome Ladder network to bring us safely to Karamdor. Scratch for safely. But at least right next to the shipyard. Alright, now the passphrase Kalumin, and we're inside. Charlie mentioned we should talk with a foreman here, and there's one at the docks. Pretending to work for Glove seems pretty convincing as he leads us into his office. But we're being tested. Glove doesn't have a wife, just a girlfriend, as the king told us. A bit more trivia, and we're trustworthy enough to be told that Glove has commissioned a massive battle fleet to be built here to invade Gillinor. Whoa, that went from like 60 to 100 real quick. And to build the fleet, he needs a lot of lumber. Lumber which a giant tree might be able to provide, as well as a casus belli. Now, this information will surely convince the king that Glove is the perpetrator here. And we get to use the spirit trees once again to quickly get back to the stronghold. Alright, Nanode, take a look at these papers and have Glove arrested or something. Years of being a trusty servant are not so easily undone, however, and we need even more proof. Now, how do we find that? Maybe Charlie knows a bit more. After all, he transported the rocks. And indeed he does. Glove left the keys to some private chest at his girlfriend's place recently. If we steal them, we might be able to find undeniable proof. Why does every woman run away when I start a conversation? This game is getting too real. In an unexpected turn of events, We don't need to use any tricks to get the keys, as Anita is asking us to return them to our good friend Glove. Well, always happy to help. Glove is even still here, but when we're just looting your stuff while you're watching, no problem. Aha! Invasion plans. Now this has to be enough to convince the king. Still not. Really? Oh man, but at least he sends his own man to search the house, but all we could find were some twigs in strange shapes. These look to spell the word Tuzo, which reminds me of an entry in the translation table. Open. Well, these 4 pillars next to a locked door suddenly seem awfully convenient. Let's spell it out. And that is a very promising sound. Finally, Glove is admitting to his acts, and without guards to protect him, he should have chosen his words more wisely for Gnome and Rune longsword distance. Hey, calling reinforcements is unfair. Especially demonic ones. Luckily, we have some food. I hope it's enough. Die, you foul beast. Now, Glove, time for you to walk right through walls? Alright. Better report back to the king. The ladder upstairs is broken, but following the path, we end up back at the roots with the king already waiting. And after sending his guards to confirm our story, he finally believes the Glove was behind this all along to incite a war. Unfortunately, however, he managed to flee, so this won't be the last we've heard of this little rascal. And the only thing standing in the way of our hard-earned quest reward is one last Laconia rock that is hidden somewhere amongst these roots. It was the last one, of course. But now it is finally quest completed. A bunch of combat, mage and agility XP. Back then the combat XP was in attack, so that's what we'll be choosing. Even though I'd really like some defense. But I suppose rune armor has to wait a bit longer. And alongside the XP, we also gain access to a hidden mine down here. As well as access to the Gnome Glider transport system. Traveling around the world gets easier and easier by the update. While I don't go full completionist mode, there are still some minor things to do before calling it a day. First, I wanted to take a quick look at the Barbarian Agility course, our only other agility training method from level 35 onwards. Just a couple more laps around the Gnome course to get us there. Now that's an agility course with some chest hair. If you chance to fail, it's not quite as safe anymore. And in a few more weeks, we'll be even able to train in the far north of the deep wilderness. Now, as one last thing, I wrap up the update from the 17th of June 2002. The coal trucks were retroactively locked behind agility, so with this little jump here, we have our go-to place for mining coal in the future. Alright, I think we can call it here. This was the final thing I'll be doing in 2002. Join me next time, when we'll be starting fresh in 2003 and put our newfound agility levels to good use in the next part of the ElfQuest line. Until then, take care and have a wonderful day. Bye.